Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. I hope these cicadas making their noise in the background ain't too distracting. Sometimes they're pretty loud, even louder than this. But anyway, yeah, welcome to another video where I talk about the real life Yu-Gi-Oh games people play. And once again, this is not the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. This is a metaphoric videos, because I think Yu-Gi-Oh is a metaphor. And it describes exactly people's behavior. Somebody literally pulling a card out their ass, and a person that has the right to even create new cards, but you're not. And anyway, this one it has more than one names, but I can make more than one card out of it. I called it the "You're Running Your Mouth" card, or the "You're Being Smart" card. They're the same, but yet I can make two cards out of them simply because I think I will, because first of all, there's this card deals with opponent or opponents or parties who already have and claim the anointed right to say anything they choose, anything they please, and nobody else is, and you're not. They can say, and they can talk down to you or anybody else any way they want, maybe because of an authority or a seat they hold. The workplace, streets, a household, and you're not. And every time you say it or do something, it's called running your mouth and being smart. Well, being smart, you can make it into another card, because I can call the card, I'll say it, talk about it later, that being smart is the thing that you were told ever since you were a child that you're not supposed to do. You're not allowed to have any of the linguistics or question anything and say, well, how come this or that? But yet, it comes from when you're a child. You're sent to school as a daycare to be gotten out of your hair, to be gotten out of their hair, parents' hair. Then you get older, you get into other situations and places, and the dynamic just evolves. It's just a different place you got to be and people you have to deal with. But anyway, double standard, and it turns into later in life where I hold the seat of power. You're working somewhere to fatten somebody's wallet. We have the power, and we have the SUV, and we have this and that. We're better than you. We're above you. Fuck you. We can have you thrown out of somewhere or be destitute. Or even, if it takes another twist. They're, in a way, so many words daring you that it takes any other kind of dynamic, and you don't want to do that. Stuff like that makes the news, and they'll love that. In a way, it's like, I fucking hope you do. We can have you, the cops coming through you in a cage. Even though it isn't said, the body language and the innuendo of it arises. And it's always under, all other parties involved. It evolves from and with other parties involved. Okay, I could turn that into a pun. I could turn a slip of the tongue there into a pun. And, yeah, and then they basically don't have to answer for it. It's another double standard. You have to sit down and shut up. They have the right to talk down to anyone they please. You have to sit down and shut up. Otherwise, if you do it or say anything, if you claim the right to say anything, you're, quote, running your mouth. And in a lot of scenarios where you don't do it, like a bunch of us, for example, don't get together and mock the parties that talk down to the other. And some of us will also play the game of mock us, the particular perpetrator, right? When you and a bunch of people, or me and a bunch of people, say, if you and me were together mocking the perpetrators, right? In front of a particular other parties, in a nonchalant way just to see who they go and tell, It's called running your mouth, it's called being smart, and it's also called you're pushing them. If somebody runs and tells somebody, the dynamic will go from not just you're running your mouth or being smart. Oh, you're pushing me. Oh, don't you're pushing me. And like I said, the beginning smart card, it can have its own card and explain, because it deals specifically in the linguistics you're not supposed to have. You're supposed to be as dumb and as submissive as possible. That's the specific. The specifics of being expected to be silent and dumb and submissive as possible, where the dynamic I'm talking about is the running of the mouth aspect. Very similar, but different, and overlaps. Sometimes people say it's both the same thing and it overlaps, and potato, potato, tomato, tomato, you know what I mean? But the perpetrators that are above you or talk down to you or think everybody's below them, they got the SUV or whatever the hell. And it's not always workplaces. Fill in the blanks, all kind of other places. It's their nonchalant way of telling you to go fuck yourself, but you're not allowed to tell them to go fuck themselves. You sit down and shut up. We can speak to you any way you please. And if you do any mocking them behind their back or around other people deliberately to see who somebody goes and tells, which you do to demonstrate a nonchalant fuck you to them, they come back, oh, you're pushing me, and it's like, fuck you? No, fuck you. And then it turns into, no, fuck you. And then it turned into that, and like I said, in so many words, it's like you get basically dared to, hey, anything else comes of this, like usually a retaliatory thing if somebody were to whoever goes and tells, you know what I mean? It results usually in some totalitarian or retaliatory speech of some kind, a threat of some kind, or whatever, whether to be thrown out of whatever, or canceled from whatever, or whatever the hell, the whole you fill in the rest of the blanks, I mean? There's always if it's not outright at the time, a threat of some kind of consequences or whatever. But basically, it's like a power trip, a show of power, and it's like it's one of the things that in a way there's no talking to people. You know what I mean? It's like it's Mr. or Mrs. I have the power. Because I'm my party or my crowd or whatever the heck, and it's like reminded you of where your place is. You know what I mean? And